They brought in Patrick Roy, and this is the truth. They brought him in because he's a face, he's a personality, and I think he will really thrive in the New York market. All these French analysts coming and asking questions to Patrick Roy at the UBS Arena is only going to help hockey, because Patrick Roy is the face of Canadian hockey. He's the face of the French-Canadian hockey world. And Quebec and Ottawa and all those places, Montreal, he was the king there. And now you bring in the king, a guy that was arguably one of the greatest, if not the greatest, goaltender ever in NHL history. You can argue him, Martin Brodeur, Eddie Jokerman. I think that the Islanders needed to make this move. I think the Islanders realized that they weren't going to win with Lane Lambert. Realize what you see with Peter Laviolette and what he has changed for the Rangers into winning. The different style of hockey. And I think Patrick Roy could add that style of hockey to the island, to the Islanders, and give them something to cheer about. They need to add players. Bringing in a coach is not going to help the woes that they have right now defensively, and some aspects offensively in games that they should be in, and they're not. There are games that stand out, against the Canadians, against some of these bad teams. You're losing against them, and then you lose in overtime. You have played more overtime games than any team in hockey by a long shot, and you have more overtime losses than teams have losses. It's ridiculous. You can't win in overtime? That's a big problem, and Patrick Roy is going to have to fix this up. Against Vegas, that was a good game. The Islanders were in the game the whole game, and they actually had a chance to win. And then they lose in the third period. Again, you were tied going into the third period, and then you lose in the third period.
And it's been a problem for the Islanders all year, and maybe that's a big reason they made the coaching change, too. They want a guy that has helped finish games, too, because they're playing close. The Islanders have played a lot of one-goal games this year. The problem is they don't have a good goal differential, because when their offense goes cold, like it did on this streak, they're getting blown out all the time. They're losing 4-0. They're losing 5-1. And like you said, they're losing to too many bad teams.
Pat's been away from hockey for about 7 years. He's been doing so many good things in the junior hockey leagues, and now he has the opportunity now to come back to the NHL and prove all those haters out there, including those Colorado Avalanche haters, that he can still coach. By the way, he was a great coach for the Colorado Avalanche for 3 years, and then lost respect for Joe Sakic and had his own thoughts on and off the ice of the GM of the Colorado Avalanche. But again, we're very happy to be here. And the Islanders adding Patrick Roy was a big story. Lane Lambert obviously lost the team over the last couple of weeks, and then going on that 4-game skid, it didn't really make Lou Lamoriello happy on Saturday night when they lose a game against the Chicago Blackhawks in overtime. And that pretty much said to Lou, this is over. This trial with Lane Lambert after a year and a half is over. And then they land the great Patrick Roy.
So much mediocrity with the Islanders throughout the last 2 years that it's kind of shifted from the defense to the offense this year, doing better, but the defense still struggling, and Lane Lambert still really did not fix anything. And you look at this month, since the new year, 2024 calendar year, they've won 2 games. They won against the Coyotes 5-1, and then the one against the Maple Leafs 4-3 in overtime. Besides that, they have lost every other game before the firing their coach. And now since Wa's come in, they won their first game against Dallas, very impressive. And then even the 2 losses that they've had, they've outshot both Vegas and Montreal by a lot. So definitely a good start for Patrick Roy so far in his coaching tenure.
And again, they played Vegas. Vegas beating them 3-2. It was tied 2-2 going into the third period, and then Vegas scores the goal and wins the game. And then the Canadians, I think they're a better team than the Canadians. They should have not lost against the Montreal Canadiens, but again, they put up a good fight and then lose in the third period. This has been a big problem for the New York Islanders. They need to clean up those third period goals, which has cost them how many games this year. And even in overtime, the Islanders have been in more overtime losses than any team in the NHL, any 2 teams in the NHL. It's unbelievable. They're on their way of breaking the record of overtime losses this year. So the Islanders need to figure out what has been the problem in the later periods, and even in the overtime periods, that's cost them games.
Right. I was talking about a month ago that the Islanders have been too reliant on some 1-goal wins in the past, and that usually statistically is going to level out at some point. And you're seeing that happen now when the Islanders actually outshot Vegas and outshot Montreal, still losing 4-3. It's usually been in reverse. The Islanders got badly outshot and still could squeak it out or something like that. But yeah, third period still a problem, and then against Montreal, first period definitely a problem. They allowed 3 goals in the first period, a very sluggish start for that Islander team, and still having trouble against teams when they can't dominate the faceoff